In this video, I'm going to show you how to leverage your customer base by managing the high leverage points in your customer categories and channels. There are high leverage points in your customer categories and channels in pricing, value, and market share. Managing these high leverage points is essential to achieving your company's maximum profitability, cash flow, return on equity, and company value. This is the first video in my 5-part series on universal high leverage points for entrepreneurs. These videos are dedicated to showing you how to monitor or take the pulse of your high leverage points to see the ones that are going well and the ones that need your attention. My name is Brant Friesen. I live in Vancouver, Canada, where I've been a chartered accountant for more than 45 years. My specialty has always been working with companies to build their best possible future. I work with teams to show them how to identify the high leverage points in the systems that make up their operating, investing, and finance activities. Then working together, we design and implement high leverage policies to take advantage of the high leverage points and maximize profits, cash flow, return on equity, and company value. To be clear, the focus of these videos is not on cost cutting. The focus is on growth, which may or may not involve revenue growth. So, what are high leverage points all about? High leverage points provide the focus for working together and maximizing performance. High leverage points complement each other, so the effect of managing them all well creates a synergy that results in a compound positive effect on your company's performance. Monitoring and managing the 10 entrepreneur high leverage points has 2 positive effects. First, it rallies company teams when a team sees how the positive performance of the high leverage points that they control has such a positive impact on the performance of other company high leverage points. The better the operations performance, the easier it is to work with financial institutions and raise funds for investments in technology, equipment, and facilities that can be used to innovate new products and services, smooth out workflows, improve quality, and reduce lead times. With these improvements in the brand offering, operations can raise selling prices, which is one of the fastest and most effective ways to increase profits. Managing high leverage points also maximizes the collaboration and synergy between your operating, investing, and finance activities, which maximizes profits, cash flow, return on equity, and company value. We see the positive effect that managing high leverage points has on team performance and financial performance. On the flip side, failing to manage your high leverage points results in mediocre performance and frustration for team members. High leverage points are monitored over a range of time intervals. Short-range high leverage points change so frequently that they require attention on a daily basis and sometimes on a minute-by-minute basis. Mid-range high leverage points don't change as frequently, so their monitoring isn't as often as short-range high leverage points. Long-range high leverage points require a look ahead that goes years into the future. These are your leading indicator high leverage points. The 10 entrepreneur high leverage points fall into one of 3 company activities: operations, investing, or finance. The teams responsible for these activities can see who has the primary responsibility for each high leverage point. As you've heard me say in my other videos, these 3 activities are interrelated and work simultaneously, so a high leverage point in one activity affects the other 2 activities. In this video, I'm going to review the operations high leverage points, customer categories and channels, and pricing, value, and market share. Where I'll be reviewing pocket pricing by customer categories and channels, the value map, the value equivalency line and brand promise, and the market demand at different points on a value equivalency line. Let's talk about how customer categories and channels are defined and monitored. I'm going to illustrate this high leverage point by referencing the kitchen cabinet industry. Kitchen cabinets fall into 3 value categories. When shopping for kitchen cabinets, you can buy basic budget price units or move up the scale to semi-custom cabinets from local shops or the most expensive elite brands from Germany such as Pokenpol, Cymatic, Nobilia, and Hacker. In the kitchen cabinet industry, you'll find craft production, semi-automated production lines, and fully automated production featuring computer numerical controls and robotics. Customer categories fall into 2 markets. There is a new construction market and a renovation market for kitchen cabinets. Sales are made through company-run or dealer showrooms with kitchen designers on staff or dealing directly with company representatives who are employed by the company or have a contract relationship with the company. Most new construction, in particular development projects, goes through company representatives. Customers can buy from a showroom that will generally have kitchen designers on staff. Renovation sales are usually all run through a showroom. Most new construction purchases are coordinated through a relationship manager who is directly tied to a kitchen cabinet manufacturer as a member of the team or by a rep agreement. As it is with many industries, there are 4 customer category and channel monitoring steps for kitchen cabinet companies. The trading area that can be serviced, the market share for a cabinet brand within each customer category, the trends in each trading area and market category, the relationships between the kitchen cabinet company and the developers and builders in each customer category. The large global cabinet manufacturers can service international trading areas. Boutique facilities will be more effective serving a region or city or town. No one brand will have the lion's share of the market in every customer category. The mid-price cabinet brands will likely have the greatest market share, but there will also be more brands in this price range. There will be a lower demand for premium price cabinets. There will be fewer brands competing for market share in the premium price category. Price is not the only consideration that determines a brand's market share. There are the tangible benefits that come with the cabinets and the prestige level of the brand. We'll get into this in more detail in the value map discussion that comes up later. When new construction projects get to a large enough size, developers and builders will only work with a cabinet company that can produce and deliver cabinets according to the build schedule for their projects. For example, a boutique cabinet manufacturer may not have the capacity to take on the delivery schedule required by high-rise condominium builders. Regarding the trends in the trading area and within each customer category, the questions are, is the population increasing, declining, or staying the same? Is there a push for housing density that is leading to more high-rise condominium developments? Will the cabinet count per kitchen increase, decrease, or stay the same? Regarding the relationships that are established between the kitchen cabinet company and the developers and builders in each customer category. Is the company pre-qualified with the builders it wants to work with in the customer categories in its trading area? Are relationships with the developers and builders so established that your company is involved early on in the kitchen design process for new projects? At a minimum, is the company always on the bid list with the developers that it wants to work with? We're going to continue with our kitchen cabinet reference with our review of the second high leverage point, pricing, value, and market share. Pricing right and maximizing capacity utilization are the 2 fastest and most effective ways to maximize profitability. Getting one of these high leverage points right will result in a significant improvement in profits. Getting both of these high leverage points right leads to extraordinary profit improvements. I'll deal with capacity utilization in a future video. For now, let's talk about the pricing leverage point. Price management is a wide-ranging topic. One of the best books on the subject is The Price Advantage. This book, written by 3 McKinsey consultants, is a must-read for leveling up pricing strategy and tactics. I'll introduce some of the principles from The Price Advantage in this video, and I'll reference other principles in future videos. I won't get into as much depth on pricing as you'll find in the book, so my references and discussions are not to be taken as a substitute for reading The Price Advantage. Why is price management such a powerful leverage point? Price management policies are so important because they leverage your revenue or top line. And when you're profitable, top line is your largest operations number. Let's look at the following example where we have top line revenue of $100 million, material costs that are totally variable with revenues of $25 million, partially variable cost of $43 million, and fixed costs of $20 million with an operating profit of $12 million. Say we increase prices by 1% and keep all the other costs where they are. Our top line increases to $101 million and our operating profit increases to $13 million. There is a $1 million or 8.3% increase in operating profit. Let's see how this compares to reducing costs by 1%. A 1% reduction of material costs equals $250,000, which translates into a 2.1% increase in operating profit. A 1% reduction of partially variable costs equals $430,000, which translates into a 3.6% increase in operating profit. A 1% reduction in fixed cost equals $200,000, which translates into a 1.7% increase in operating profit. Combined, these 1% reductions increase operating profit by 7.5%. So we see that reducing all the costs by 1% falls short of a 1% increase in selling price by 0.8%. So the positive performance effects of increasing prices by just 1% are substantial. On the other hand, so are the negative effects of decreasing prices by 1%. So it is that both offense and defense policies come into play when managing prices. You need to work at both raising prices and preventing prices from eroding. Let's talk about 4 price management monitoring points that are fundamental to managing prices. 1. Your pocket pricing by customer category and channel. 2. Your value map. 3. Your value equivalency line. 4. The market demand at different points on the value equivalency line. The price advantage introduces the pocket price concept. Pocket price is the amount that a company actually receives from a customer for a sales transaction after all the discounts or off-invoice items are taken off the list price for a product or service. Let's go back to our kitchen cabinet company. This grid shows the waterfall of discounts from list price on sales made by our kitchen cabinet manufacturer to one of its dealers. This pocket price waterfall illustrates that there are a number of ways that off-invoice costs can eat into list and invoice prices. It also emphasizes the importance of performing the pocket price calculations for all of your products and services. Pocket price can vary from customer to customer, so it is important to track the pocket price for each product and each customer. Customers for a company's products and services have a perception of the benefits they are receiving for their perceived price that they're paying. When these two perceptions are plotted on a grid, you get a value map. A value map shows perceived price on the vertical axis and perceived benefits on the horizontal axis. Customers' perceptions for each benefit and price are pinned to the value map. A value equivalency line can be drawn through the points on the value map. Here's the value map and value equivalency line for the kitchen cabinet market in Vancouver. At the high point of the Vale, we have the fully custom, ready-to-install local cabinet companies and the iconic German companies. At the low end of the Vale, we have the flat pack, ready-to-assemble companies, most well-known being IKEA. Between these 2 points on the Vale, we have the ready-to-install semi-custom cabinet companies. The price advantage breaks down perceived benefits into 3 categories: functional, process, and relationship. At the high point of the Vale, we have cabinets with the functional benefits of state-of-the-art design, engineering, materials, build quality, and accessories. The process and relationship benefits include on-site interior design consultation and measuring for fit and full installation. At the low point in the Vale, the flat pack ready-to-assemble offerings aren't perceived to have the same benefits as the brand offering higher on the Vale, and they're perceived to be priced much lower. Building a value map in Vale that plots the perceived benefits and perceived prices for you and your competitors' products and services will show your brand's relative position on the Vale. After you see your relative Vale position, you want to look for opportunities to improve your customers' perception of benefits relative to their perception of your pricing. Ideally, your benefit perceptions will improve so you can raise your prices and maintain or increase your market share. Please note that lowering prices to gain market share is a last-ditch policy decision that should not be taken lightly. There are 2 fundamental issues with this tactic. First, it's usually very difficult, if not impossible, to gain the increase in sales volume that is needed to make up for the decrease in profit margin. The second issue that can be more damaging than the first is the high probability of other companies in the Vale matching your price reduction, which leads to an overall lowering of the Vale. A lower Vale means that every company keeps their original market share, but they all make less top line and less profit. This brings us to the second installment in the 5-part series of 10 entrepreneur high leverage points, where I cover 2 more operation activity high leverage points. Click on this link for production and service drum and product and service ranking. Thanks for watching.